Hey guys, welcome to episode number 11 of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. As you might be able to tell, the sun is shining today, which is great, but that also means that my lighting can be a bit glary, so I just hope that it'll be okay. I actually recorded this episode yesterday, but it was a busy day, so I tried to record in the afternoon and then it got dark very quickly, and I just wasn't really happy with the quality of the recording and the image, so I decided to give it another shot today. First of all, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in for the first time, or if you're returning every week, thank you so much for that. And then, before I go into the podcast itself, I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone, because I just feel so grateful. At the moment, I'm getting a lot more followers and a lot more is happening on Instagram, and everyone is just being so nice. Like, I cut my hair, which you probably can tell by now, and I think I got an amount of comments on Instagram that I actually wasn't able to tell everyone thank you anymore. So I just wanted to say thank you to you guys on here. And honestly, I've been a bit overwhelmed with keeping up with Instagram and Ravelry and life in general. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate all the messages that I get, especially this week, because I had a few hiccups and I received a couple of really nice messages and they just made my day. And I try to, reply to everyone on Instagram, but I know that sometimes, I don't know, it just gets too much and I forget to comment on your pictures. But it's honestly just because I don't have the time sometimes, and if I like something, it actually means that I like it. Like, I look at the pictures and I do keep up with everything. I just don't always manage to write something all the time. But yeah, I'm just so thankful for you guys, because it's just been really good the last couple of weeks. I feel like I've got so much support, and the day before yesterday, I was trying to do brioche and failing at it, and I posted something on Instagram, and immediately a couple of people helped me, and it is just so great to have a community that's, so helpful, and knitters are really the nicest people. So I just wanted to get a big thank you again out there to you guys, because yeah, I feel like I'm benefiting from this so much. I have made wonderful friends, and yeah, like, the whole knitting world has just become a part of my life. Excuse my voice. I just got up. I'm drinking the last one of my pucker teas. It's the peppermint and licorice tea, which is actually quite nice. And today is a good day because I just had birthday cake for breakfast, because it was my sister's birthday yesterday, but I'll go more into that later. But cake for breakfast always makes for a good start of the day, right? So, sorry for the ramble. I have one more thing. So, I asked last week whether you prefer the longer or the shorter episodes, and I got mixed responses. I got some people saying definitely the shorter ones. It's like I got some people saying that they like listening to me and like the longer ones. Sorry about that. So what I decided to do was to just keep doing what I'm doing. I'll try to keep the ramble at the end. Obviously, I'm not succeeding at this today, but generally I try to do that, so you can tune out if you're only interested in the knitting, which is fine. And I will try not to give you too much unnecessary information. Like, I feel like if I tell you what I have, like all the details of my life, it's not very interesting, so yeah. But I will just see. The episodes will turn out as however long as they do. Sorry, just had to tune out because my voice was just going crazy. So now I want to talk to you about knitting. So I have an FO, I have a few works in progress, I have some spinning, some acquisitions. I want to talk about our knit along, and then about life in general. The one FO that I have is a very quick one. So I just wanted to use up some of my hand spun yarn, which is, I thought it was merino, but it turns out that it's rather scratchy, so maybe it's just virgin wool. and I applied this with a really thin cashmere yarn. So it looks like this, and I just wanted a new hat for my new hair, and it is really just a very basic standard hat. And when knitting this, I realized that I really need to get some proper circulars, shorter circulars, because all the ones that I have are terrible, and I think that's what's keeping me from knitting hats. But yeah. That's my only FO this week, and now my hair is ruined. Oh yeah, and I'm wearing a bandage because I seem to have gotten carpal tunnel infection, I guess, from spinning too much, because I've been spinning like crazy. So I've had a very painful wrist, which also kept me from knitting on the weekend. But I feel like I still made reasonable progress, so yeah. Oh my god, so many tangents today. What's going on? The first work in progress that I want to show you is in my hand-sewn bag. And it is my boyfriend's sweater, which I am knitting in Drops Lima color 519. And that's 65% wool, 35% alpaca. And essentially, it is just a stockinette jumper. The pattern I'm kind of using is a drops pattern called Twilight. And this is where I was last week, so I made maybe 8 centimeters of progress. It is basically just a little stockinette in the round. I really like this yarn. I don't know, I really like this fabric in general, but it is also quite boring to knit, so I'm not knitting on it as much as I should. I'm kind of relaxing because I felt like I have so much time, but his birthday is on the 26th, so it's still a fair bit away, but it's not super far away. But yeah, I just have no motivation to work on this. It's not the pattern's fault, it's not the yarn's fault, it's just not the most exciting project. And I'm knitting this on 3.5mm circular needles. If you are actually interested in knitting this pattern, I have some project notes about the increases that I've made on my Ravelry page. I just don't want to go into it now because it's not super interesting, and unless you're knitting it, I think there's no point. So that's my first work in progress. My second work in progress are my socks. So last week I showed you this ball of yarn, and that yarn is a Zauberwiese yarn. I think I've said a few times now that I'm trying to use German yarns just to see what's out there, and I'm very much liking this one. What I didn't say last week is that this came in a set of 2 skeins, and they are one of a kind straight S skeins, so they don't have a colorway name. But it is 75/25 normal sock yarn, and I'm almost finished with my first sock. Oops! Dropping stuff everywhere. But yeah, so I've done a cuff, a heel, and I think I have to do 1 more centimeter and then I can start the toe. And pattern-wise, I really wanted to knit the Hermione's Everyday Socks, and I cast them on. But with the crazy colorful yarn, it didn't look very good, so I just ripped it back. And instead what I'm doing is I'm doing stockinette in the back, and in the front I'm doing purl ridges. So I'm doing knit 7 purl 1 on the front 2 needles, and then before I started the heel, I moved the stitches by 3 so that those ridges would be centered. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. But yeah, so I'm just continuing doing the ridges in the front and on the foot as well, and on the back I'm just doing stockinette. I did the reinforced heel, which I think looks really fun with this yarn. And yeah, just in general. So this is the first one of my German yarns I think that I'm trying, and I'm really liking the sock yarn. It's not a high twist sock yarn, but it kind of feels a little, it's pretty twisted, I guess. and the colors are super saturated, and it just makes for a really, really nice fabric. And I was worried that all the colorfulness would just turn into like a muddy sort of brown, but it's actually pulling in a really cool way, I think. And yeah, I think it keeps it interesting. So I'm pretty happy with this, and I just want to finish the second one so I can cast on some new socks. And I usually take my socks on trips, so when I went to my boyfriend's parents' house, I took those socks, but then I actually didn't knit for one day because I had too much pain. And then on the second day, I knit the entire foot. So it's going quite fast, and I'm, as always, using my DPNs. These are the Knit Pro Zings in the 2.25mm. And if you ask me whether I prefer Magic Loop or DPNs, then I definitely prefer DPNs. I think it might just be because I learned how to knit socks on DPN, so I've done like, I don't know, maybe 20 pairs of DPN socks and 2 pairs of Magic Loop. So to me, Magic Loop just feels way slower, and I don't like to have to pull the cord all the time, and I'm more tense when I knit with Magic Loop. So for me, DPNs are the most relaxing sock needles ever. And I really like those Knit Pro Zings, by the way. I noticed that a lot of people have gotten them, but no one really talks about them. But they're relatively cheap, they're very, very light. They're not the sharpest ones. I will say that when you do like twist rib, a little bit more of a sharper tip would be nice, but that's really the only thing you can say about that. And they're cheap, and I think you can't expect them to be super sharp anyways. So unless you're knitting like lacy socks, I can definitely recommend them. And they do have the millimeter size stamped on them, which is good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of these. So FO work in progress number 3 is something you haven't seen, and it's also part of my acquisitions. So I went to 2 yarn stores with my boyfriend's mom. I'll go more into that later, but essentially we went to a German store which is called Rödel, and they have their own brand of yarn. And what I got was 3 skeins of soft merino, and she actually gave those to me, so I got gifted yarn, which is awesome. So I got these 3 colors. So it's like a light gray, a dark mustard, and a purplish lavender maybe. And I really like these colors. I've got 100 meters or 50 grams of each. And I use these to practice brioche because I just wanted to get the hang of brioche. I didn't necessarily have a pattern in mind. I do eventually want to knit the vintage prim hat, but I just really wanted to see what the whole brioche thing was all about. And I started knitting 2-color brioche flat, and I had a fair bit of trouble with that, but I got some amazing help from people on Instagram, so thank you if you're one of those people. And then I did brioche in the round, and it worked out fine, but I was just really tensing up, so I was feeling a lot of pain in my wrists, so therefore I shrugged it, and I did something completely different. And hang on. Got a bit of a mess going on here. Big surprise. But I just wanted a squishy project to show off these yarns. So what I wanted to do like a chevron pattern, but then I thought maybe it looked like a baby blanket, so I decided to do this arrowhead sort of pattern. So I just made this up by doing decreases in the sides and increases in the middle. And I'm doing 8 rows of each color. So this might either just stay a very wide scarf, or I might do it into a cowl, or maybe even like a large loop sort of cowl that you can wrap around twice. I'm really not too sure yet. I just wanted to use some of the yarns, and I think the colors will go really well with my dark blue coat. So yeah, nothing super special to say about it. The yarn is a little bit splitty, but then I have, knit and frogged it a few times, so I guess that's to be expected. It is not the softest merino, but again, it is not a expensive yarn, so that's okay. And I'm using 6mm needles, and I'm just doing garter stitch, and the center stitch I'm doing in stockinette. So yeah, I just really like these colors. And then my last work in progress is my favorite work in progress, so I kept it until last. And I'm keeping it in this bag, which I got in Vietnam. I seem to really like this bag for lace projects because you can just comfortably fit your pattern and lots of yarn. So I will show you the yarn first, and then I'll talk about the shawl and the pattern later. So what I'm using is Malabrigo lace, which is a singles yarn, and I use the colorway Pagoda and the colorway Alpine Pearl. I will use for the border. So I've got those two colors, and I'm really enjoying the yarn. So the project looks like this. This is the Vida shawl by Mina Phillip, who is the knitting expert / she makes project bags as Mina makes. And she kind of gifted me this pattern, which is amazing because I was going to buy it anyways. So as you can see, it's all scrunched up on the needles, but you can see the variegation very subtly, which is nice. And then the lace portion looks like this. So the stitch marker is where I was last week. So I've made quite a bit of progress, and that's also because with lace you have to knit kind of loosely anyway, so it was the best project for me to work on with my wrist. So I decided to make the large size shawl, and I'm still my first ball of yarn. So this is how much I have left of the first skein, which isn't much, but like this is less than 50 grams for a large portion of the body. I could have done the medium size with only 50 grams, and that's pretty amazing. So yeah, the pattern is just so much fun. I really enjoy it. It becomes very intuitive. As usual, I'm too lazy to read the charts, so I'm doing the written instructions, but it all kind of makes sense at some point, and I don't really look at it too much. I think I have 2 more charts or pages to go, and then I'll have to do the edging, which is a knitted on border. And yeah, so the lace looks like that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the yarn because it is a singles yarn, and for me it was the first time to knit with a lace yarn that's a singles, and I'm really enjoying it. In the beginning I really wasn't too sure about it because it is very slippery, and it's just, yeah, of course it's going to be a totally different sort of yarn to knit with. So it is super soft. Some people complain that it pills, but of course if it's a singles yarn, like the softer it goes, the more it's going to pill. So I feel like you can't really complain about that. But it does have a slight halo. I'm not sure if you can see it. And it knits up, I don't know, it's just a different sort of fabric. I'm really enjoying it. I'm in love with all the singles lace yarns now. I really want to order some more, and it's very stretchy, and it feels thicker than a normal lace yarn, like a plied lace yarn, which makes sense because it's just more plump. And yeah, so I can definitely recommend this. And I think, I don't know, for me it just makes for such a comfortable knitting experience. I'm so excited to have this around my neck. And that's essentially why I decided to do the large version, because I really like the yarn. So yeah, that's that. Oh yeah, and I'm knitting this on 3.5mm lace needles. These are the Adi lace, which are my favorite ever lace needles. If you want to buy some, definitely buy those. I love the cord, I love the tips. I don't know everything about them, it's just, they're my favorite needles of all the needles that I have. The only weird thing is that after a while now, the tips are kind of starting to get a bit of a funny color. Like, I'm not sure why, but they're working fine, so yeah. That's my Vida shawl. Um, yeah. So I'll show you my spinning now. Oh, actually, before I show you my spinning, I have one more planned in it. So as you can see, I have 4 projects on the needle at the moment, which for me is a lot. But I just have kind of lost my knitting mojo, and I think it might have been because I was worried about my wrists, and also because my boyfriend's sweater is a little bit boring. So I just felt like casting on new things, and I decided to join the Westnitz mystery knit along that's starting in 3 days. So I decided to do this on a 3.5-hour car ride, and I was mentally going through my stash because I really wanted to use some of my variegated colorful sock yarn. And then I realized that I don't have a perfect color combination. So yesterday I ordered some yarn that should work with the yarns that I already have, and hopefully I'll find some sort of combination that I can use for the Doodler knit along. So I'm really excited about that because I love Stephen West patterns, and especially his mystery knit along ones have been great. And yeah, I think it'll just be another thing to keep me motivated, and I'm a pretty fast knitter, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep up with the clues as they come out. I'm just hoping that my yarn will arrive in time, but it should, because I ordered another German brand. So yeah, if you are also knitting it, let me know, because you can always start a thread in our Ravelry group. I mean, I know that there's a huge group, but it's kind of too huge for me. So if you guys want to also just make up a little thread and talk about our problems that we might encounter, just let me know, or open a thread yourself. I think it might be good if a couple of other people decide to join in. So yeah, that'll mean that I will have 5 projects on the needles. I'm not even sure if I have enough needles for that, actually. So yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure if, when I have my knitting mojo is down, I'm not sure if I should cast on more things or I should just get through it and finish things. But yeah, I'm very much a process knitter. I honestly mostly don't really care about the finished product. I just like knitting interesting things. So I'm excited about that. So now about spinning. Last week I was spinning up these singles, which are fondant fiber merino top in the lavender tea colorway. And I was just spinning and spinning and spinning, which caused my wrist problem. But I really wanted to finish this, so I started plying it. And now I've kind of been looking at it without doing anything with it, because I know it won't do me any good if I keep spinning and plying. But this is just so beautiful. So I'm just plying it on itself, and it's not really showing up because of the light, but it is just really subtle creams and purples and whites, and I think it'll be a beautiful yarn, and it's very, very shiny. So I've been enjoying this very much, but I haven't touched it for a few days now. And it's very bittersweet because I really enjoy spinning, and I actually have some more spinning stuff coming in the mail. And I have my camel fiber that wants to be spun, I have my fuzzlings. So I have so many things that I want to spin, but I'm trying to be strong and not do it at the moment, because I know that it'll be better in the long run if I just manage to not spin for a few days. I'm actually thinking about getting a spinning wheel. Like, not right now, but if I get money for Christmas, I'm thinking I might invest in a simple one. Some of you might know that I found a spinning wheel buried at my grandparents' place, and I thought about restoring it, but I've put that idea to rest for now, because I don't think it was one from like a manufacturer, but it was one that just someone built, and there were a few things missing, which also kind of were a sign that it might just be one that looks nice rather than one that spins well. Because I read up that there are actually spinning wheels that are designed to look nice. And the wheel was very, very wobbly, and it has all sorts of things wrong with it. I think it was warped. So for me, rather than spending money on replacing and restoring something that I don't even know if it's going to be a good one, I decided that if I get a spinning wheel, I'll buy a cheap sort of start a new one and get the hang of spinning, and then I can always come back to the old one whenever I have more experience with spinning. So that's something that might be happening in the near future, simply because I really enjoy spinning, but I also want to have large quantities of hand spun. So as you might have noticed, I always do like 100 or 120 grams on my drum spindle, and that just is a lot of work. Apparently it's not good for me, and I think when you want to spin large quantities of yarn, you're probably better off to get a spinning wheel. So yeah, I'm thinking about that. I don't have any concrete plans about buying one at the moment, but it might happen soon. And then I have one more thing of acquisitions, and I'll have to backtrack a little bit for that. So I went to Hanover, which is in the north of Germany, with my boyfriend. And before we went, I looked up some yarn stores, and I found one that was, you know, kind of specialized and had nicer stuff than the usual sock yarn, acrylic yarn, yarn stores that we have in Germany. So I was pretty excited to go there, but while it was okay, it was a little bit disappointing because I had looked up what brands they have, but what they didn't say is that, for example, with Manos del Uruguay, they only had one skein of one color, and that was it. And that happened for a lot of yarns. I really wanted to also get some Mirasol, and they only had red and green. And what I really wanted to get was the Holst garn, which I did, but I wanted to get the super soft one, but they only carried this one, which is the Holst Coast. So this is the only thing that I got. This is 55% lamb's wool, 45% cotton, and this is 700 meters per 100 grams, so I got 250-gram skeins or balls or cakes. And this is the plum, and this is the charcoal colorway. So I really like these, but I was just a little bit disappointed because I was expecting to do a big haul, and I had some ideas of things that I actually needed. I wanted to get some cream colored sort of decay weight yarn. I wanted to get a few solids, but they just didn't really have anything that I liked, or it was in the wrong colors, or it was overpriced. But yeah, I got these ones. I really like these colors, and I know that I am totally going for grey and pink and purple at the moment. I placed an order yesterday for the mystery knit along, and also just because I found some awesome, amazing yarn. And again, everything I ordered is either black or grey or pink. But honestly, I don't really care because these are also colors that I wear a lot. Because I don't like orange or yellow. I don't wear green. I hate green. I don't like brown. So I know I have a lot of pink yarn, but that's okay. I really enjoy wearing it. And as you can see, I usually wear black stuff. So with black stuff, you can wear pink really well. So yeah, I got those two, and honestly, because I know that these ones, they soften up after washing it. It doesn't feel super, it's not terrible, but it doesn't feel very soft right now. I would have actually preferred to buy this in a skein and then wash it before knitting it. But now that it's already caked up, I'm not going to, wind it into a skein and wash it and then roll it back up. Because as you know, I don't have a ball winder. But yeah, generally I prefer washing my yarn before knitting it if I know it's going to be softer. But yeah, I think this will make a really nice, I want to make like a lacy 2-color shawl, I guess, or stole or whatever. I'm really enjoying knitting lace at the moment. I think these ones will be great, and the girl in the store also said that they will just sort of like plush up and become more plump and soft and stuff after you knit them. So I think this will be pretty good. And it's a Danish brand, so everything that's on there is in Danish. But yeah, so these are my only acquisitions for this week, which is good because I might have ordered some yarn, as I said. And I have some fiber coming in the mail, which is painful because I want to spin it when it gets here. And then one thing I wanted to mention is that there's a handmade fair in Würzburg, which is where I live. So that's down here on the 14th and 15th of November, which is in 2 weeks. So if you are from Germany and you live close by and you're going, definitely let me know, because I would love to meet up with you guys. I'm actually going there with my friend who knits and my sister on the Saturday, so I'll be quite busy, but I would love to meet up with any of you if by any chance you're there. And I looked it up on the internet, and it seems to be a lot of patchwork, quilt, and fabric stuff. But then there's a few yarn stores, and like interesting yarn stores there as well. Especially I'm looking forward to seeing Mondschaf. And that's the yarn store from which I showed the fiber last week, the camel fiber. She has the most amazing yarns. So I'm planning to maybe spend a little money there. And there's also, I looked it up, and I think there's at least 10 or 15 different yarn brands, and then, you know, sort of things that you use with yarn, yarn-related things. So I'm pretty excited about that one. So if you're going, let me know. And I think I want to make a haul, because I finally got paid all my money that I got from my job, and also, like, I don't know, it's just everything kind of, all the money that I was owed for a while all came back. And yeah, yarn just makes me happy, so I'm really happy at the moment to have the time and also the means to enjoy. So guys, I think that's it for the knitting portion. So if you're not interested in the rest, then that's fine. Otherwise, if you want to stick around, I'll just talk a little bit about what's been happening. Oh yeah, hang on, stay. I wanted to talk about the knit along. Just a reminder, we still have the challenge cowl, which is a craft along, because you can sew, you can dye yarn, you can knit, you can spin, you can do whatever you want. And it just has to be something that's a challenge for you, whether that may be knitting socks, or trying a new technique, or trying a new construction, a new yarn kind, whatever. And we've had a few entries in the FO thread now, and also some chatter. I love reading about your plans, because it really inspires me. And yeah, like for me personally, I'm already noticing that I'm getting a lot more things done, because I've made a list, and now I can cross off things, and it's really good. I try to not be too technical about my knitting. Like, I don't want my knitting to be something where I have to make plans and keep charts and, you know, tick things off too much, because I don't really like that. But I do notice that I think I probably wouldn't have tried brioche, but it was on my list, so I was like, yeah, I'll just give it a go. And I know I didn't do a huge amount of brioche, but I'm really happy to have tried that. So yeah, keep posting your challenges. I showed you one prize last week. There's another prize coming, and at the moment your chances of winning are pretty good. And I will make up some sort of, probably like a chatter thread prize as well. And it runs until the end of the year, so you still have some time. You can post as many of those as you want, within reason, obviously. Like, if you knit 20 pairs of baby socks, I would prefer if you do one post rather than 20, but I'm pretty open-minded about it. And you can use works in progress as long as they're not, 90% done. But, finishing things can be a huge challenge. I could talk about that for a while, because I have a few things that need to be finished. So yeah, just a reminder about that. So now about life. As I mentioned, there have been a few hiccups. I'm not sure where to start. One good thing was that on last Wednesday I cut my hair. I just chopped it all off, and honestly I would have preferred to even chop off some more. So I'm already planning to go back soon and get it even shorter, especially at the back. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I just needed a change. And I used to have short hair, so it wasn't like too terrifying for me. And I donated the hair to charity, which was really good. So it's going to cancer patients and kids. So it just feels really good, because I had really long hair, and hairdressers, they were just going to go, throw it away. So yeah, just something really easy, and you can do something for someone else. So I can definitely recommend that. and you can always just ask your hairdresser, I guess. Like, I kind of looked it up online, but they were like, yeah, we'll just send it off for you, and it was really good. And then we had a bit of a health scare last week as well. So my dad was in hospital. It turned out to be all fine, but that kind of put a dampener on a few days, because it's just on the back of your mind. It's like this whole what if something's wrong. So especially then I got a few lovely messages, and it really meant so much. So I'm really, really glad to have you guys as my friends. Yeah. But it all turned out fine. Until the last moment I was thinking, do I have to cancel my trip or our trip to Hanover? But it turned out alright. So on Friday morning we drove up to the north of Germany. I completely lied last week. I thought it was going to be like 5 hours drive, but it actually was only like 3.5 or 4 hours. So it wasn't that bad, and we visited my boyfriend's parents, who live in a very, very nice apartment there, and it's just such a nice place. I love Hanover. And it was autumn, and all the leaves were just, bright yellow in the sun. It was beautiful. We also visited his grandma, who is 97 now. She shares my birthday, which is cool. And yeah, we went yarn shopping, or just general shopping. What else did we ate so much food, it was ridiculous. His mom is a really, really good cook. And on Saturday night we went to a theater, and it was just terrible. It was beyond terrible. I'm not going to say the name of the piece, but it was a sort of modern theater where everyone undressed, screamed, yelled, everything happened at once. They were kind of throwing food over the stage, and it was just weird. But it was at a theater called Cumberland Theater, I think, which in itself was really, really cool, because it was this really old building, and kind of like a church that hasn't been, getting any upkeep. And then they built a bar in it, and it looked really cool. So it was still fun. And then on Sunday we went back to Würzburg, which is where I live. And then at that point I was pretty exhausted, because it's always like, that was the second weekend in a row that I was away. And it's always like when you're staying with someone else, it can be quite exhausting. And then yesterday was another exhausting day, because it was my sister's birthday, and I invited them to come here. So I spent the morning cleaning up the house or the apartment, and then they came, and we had coffee and went out for lunch and went shopping and enjoyed the weather, and it was really, really fun. Again, it was pretty exhausting, so I'm looking forward to a few days and weeks now where I don't have to do too much in terms of going everywhere and having huge family trips. But it was really, really fun, and I gave my sister some fabric, because she sews. I'm thinking if I keep giving her fabric, one day she'll sew up another project bag for me. I've been hinting that I need a sock bag. And also I gave her the 3-color cashmere cowl by Joji Locatelli, which I think I haven't shown you guys, because that was finished just before I started my podcast, so I will try to insert a photo of it here. But yeah, so that's been my week so far. As I said, I'm pretty exhausted. I mean, everything was really, really fun, and I had a good time, and I can't complain. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, some peace and quiet. And the next weekend, I think we have absolutely nothing planned, and I'm just so excited to do nothing. And then the weekend after is the yarn fair, so of course that's exciting. What else did I want to talk about? I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. Uni-wise, I haven't had too much going on. I don't have this much work this semester, which is good. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm at 35 minutes again. I think I just don't have that much to talk about at the moment. But that might change. I'm not really sure how I used to have like 1 hour episodes in the beginning, and I'm not really sure how I did that. Probably I just rambled more. But yeah, what I want to do, if I manage to figure out my computer, is I want to put in some photos in the end, because we have the most beautiful autumn, and I really like sharing where I come from, because I think a lot of you guys on Instagram said that they enjoy that. And I invite you guys to share where you're from, so you can post photos on Instagram or Ravelry, of your favorite spots in your city, or if you're surrounded by nature, or if you have, just like places like that you call home, in the widest sense possible. So if you want to share that, I would love to see that. If you do that on Instagram, feel free to tag me or tag the podcast or whatever. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see that. And so yeah, I'll include some photos. And then I will just wish you a beautiful week. I hope you have good weather. I hope you have lots of knitting time. Buy some yarn, because yarn buying is always good and it keeps us sane, right? It definitely keeps me sane. And feel free to message me anytime. Oh yeah, come and join our Ravelry group, which is the Happy Knitting Podcast group. Sorry about that. Also, I am on Ravelry as wuepfi, which is wuepfi. My Instagram is the Happy Knitting Podcast. And I've been bad. Last week I didn't post any show notes, but I will try to post show notes this week. Sorry about that. I've been very lazy. Yeah, and you can always subscribe to the channel, which I think doesn't only help you guys, but it also helps other people find it. So I always get very happy when I see that people follow me and stuff. So if you enjoy this podcast, definitely do that. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. If you have suggestions, criticism, that's fine. Let me know. I'm really interested in making this better and answering all your questions. So just honestly, whatever's on your mind, just let me know. And I love hearing from you, even if you just want to say hi. I love that. I love reading your guys' introductions in the Ravelry group. I love communicating with you guys. So thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.